Hi, I'm Sean Martin, President and founder of Donek Snowboards. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about using your Deeluxe hard boots. They are all very similar. I've got a 425 boot right here. And so I guess the first thing we'll cover is kind of how to get in and out of them. Some people do tend to struggle with some of these things, so might as well cover them. Obviously you want to undo all the buckles, and then it's much easier to get your foot into the liner. Now let's undo the power strap on this boot as well. Easiest way to get your foot in is to pull that tongue forward. Now the 700 boots, that's not quite the same. It's a little harder to pull that forward. So let's see what that looks like on this particular boot. The tongue comes off to the side when you pull it forward, but you can kind of pull it out, and that's going to help ease your foot into the boot. Now you're going to look next at the liner, or the Thermoflex liner that's in that boot, and you want to make sure that when you put it over your foot that you wrap the liner the correct way around. You don't want it with the shorter side on the outside. You'll notice that this will now cross and make a bit of a mess. So you want to make sure that the longer side of the liner wraps around the outside when you get your foot into it. So just double check that once your foot's in the boot. Now, when you put this tongue back, you want to make sure that it doesn't wind up. I see this a lot. People will get it underneath the buckles like this. And now you can see that it's covering the upper cuff, and you're never going to get it tightened down. So you want to make sure that you pull that cuff open and get the tongue inside the cuff like that. Okay? So now you can see that the upper cuff is wrapping around and capturing that tongue. Next thing I like to do is to buckle from the bottom up. It's a lot easier. So I'm going to buckle from the very bottom, then I'm going to catch this one. Sometimes when my foot's in there, I find it easier to do this one second, but usually just work my way all the way up the boot, get those buckles all done up. Then I'm going to do up the booster strap if my boot has one, and get that nice and tight. Now there's a couple other features on these boots that you do need to be aware of, and that's this mechanism in the back. This is your forward lean adjustment. All right. If you look at this, there are numbers on the side and a little arrow here, and that's going to tell you what adjustment position you're in. Now, if I flip this lever all the way down, the boot is going to flex. It's really tough with that stiff liner. Let's try the 325s here. So if I flip this all the way down, you're going to notice that this will flex back and forth and just kind of float. That's called walk mode. So if you have a difficult time walking in your boots, this is going to help a lot. It makes it much easier to walk down the street. But you want to lock your boot consistently in the same ride position. And you've got these numbers 1 through 5. So if you want your foot more up when you're carving, you can pull it all the way up to 5, flip that up, and that's going to lock in that position. It no longer moves. I think I'm on a 4, at least on one of mine, so I lock right there. You can find what feels best for you, and the best way to do that is to get up on the mountain or do it on your living room carpet and buckle into your bindings and feel what feels best. And if you're having trouble pressuring the cuff of a boot when you're carving, you may want to change that forward lean in order to give you better pressure. So that's something I play with. If I wind up in lock mode, it usually takes me a couple tries to get the boot in the right position if I've forgotten the numbers. I think that, there's one other thing you can do on these boots. There is a circular device with a screw on the 325 and 425 boots. And then over here there's this little half moon shape piece on the 700s. If you remove that screw, you're going to find a little mechanism in there that allows you to jump teeth and change the canting of your boot. So you can cant more inwards or outwards. If your bindings aren't providing enough canting, or you want to fine tune the canting that's going on in your bindings below you, you can make these adjustments in the cuff here and get a lot more of an adjustability out of just a standard binding. I think that that pretty much covers everything I have on my notes. So hopefully this gives you a better or a good understanding of how this boot works, or how the Deeluxe boots work, and what you need to do to get in and out of them, make adjustments on the hill, and make adjustments to fine tune your stance.